Good morning. I decided to make butter today, and I wanted to show you some things. Basically, I put a pint of cream in a quart bottle and shake it. Now, normally you would hear it. You can't really hear it. It's still a little bit liquid, but okay. So I'm going to move this back. I've already done a couple of batches, so this is after about 10 minutes of shaking. That's your cream. Now, if you wanted to cook with it, you could use it at that stage or keep shaking. You can still hear it move. And you can get it to a full cream stage, full trace, I guess you could call it. And it doesn't really matter how you shake it, just as long as it keeps moving. Okay, can you hear it? It's not moving anymore. So that right there there's your cream. Okay? So from there, keep shaking. And you'll start to see it or hear it loosen up, or you'll start to hear it move again. And you'll start to see things like this, where the cream is starting to pull away from the jar. I've already done several batches in this jar, so you can see right here where it's starting to pull away from the jar a little bit. Show you in a minute. What Mom used to do was hand all of us jars and let us dance. Okay. Now, you can hear it start to loosen. Hear that? That's the cream. And what I'm going to do at this point, it's starting to change texture. I'm going to take this salt. Now, not everybody likes putting salt in it because it salts the buttermilk. Okay, I'm going to pause this for a minute so that I can really shake. Okay, this is what you're starting to look at. You're starting to see it separate from the bottle. And as it gets further on, it'll separate more and more. So you won't really have to shake it nearly as much. You'll still have to shake it, but... And you can do this in the blender. I just don't like the mess it makes. I'd rather use my arms. Okay. Okay, let me pause you again. Well, that didn't take long. You can see as it separates, you can roll it. It's separating inside the jar. And you can hear it. Listen. Whoops. that wasn't what I was saying listen to. You can hear it start to slosh back and forth. Okay, and you can see it if you open up the jar at this point. Okay, now this is not butter yet, although it could be used. It's not butter yet. Okay. So all I'm doing right now is rolling it, and the butter itself is working okay. See it? It's just a log inside there. You can shake it down from the top, shake it down from the bottom. Buttermilk is starting to separate out. You can hear it sloshing around. But we still need to shake. And it looks like we're at 7 minutes. Like I said, it doesn't really matter how you shake, as long as it keeps moving. Okay, so here we go. Separating. Okay. So if you open it up at this point, you can see in there that there's traces of liquid way down at the bottom. That's what we want. We want all that liquid to separate out. Oops. Okay, I'll put you on hold for a minute. Okay, so it's starting to separate out. And still there's tiny bits of butter in there, but it's mostly clear. So I'm going to shake it some more. Set that aside. We want to get all the liquid out. We want only the butter fat to be left. Now I've been using bottled butter, which is great for cooking, but it doesn't taste the same as fresh butter. Okay. Okay. So that's about as much buttermilk as I'm going to get. I'm going to shake it some more. Okay, so you can see the butter. It's a pat inside. Now, first of all, I'm going to take this and I'm going to put in a little bit of cold water. Oh, still got some buttermilk down there that can be taken out. So then I'm going to take a little bit of cold water. It has to be cold. Okay, so we've harvested as much of the buttermilk as we can, but it still needs liquid in order to continue to separate out. So I'm going to put that lid back on, dry off my hands. Just put a little bit of cold water in there. Okay. Okay. All right, and I'm going to pour that water off. Not into the buttermilk, but it could be used. Okay, and this is still, if you look at it, it's still not completely consolidated. It's just, it looks like grains. So I'm going to put the lid back on and shake it some more. Okay. So you can see that it's more consolidated now. And I'm going to pour off that little bit of water that's left. Okay, now, the next step is to get as much of the water out as we can. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to, again, cold water. Pull this aside just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I've got cold water out of the sink, and I'm going to put this in the cold water just to solidify it a little bit because it's gotten warm, and you can see that it's getting, in with the cloudy water, it's getting some of the milk that's left out. So normally I would do this under the kitchen sink, but I didn't want to waste the water. So I'm going to put that there. Put that back over there. Oops, lost it. Okay. All right, now I'm going to clean off my hands for a minute. Okay, so the next step, let's move the buttermilk out of the way. Put this over here, and I'm going to move you off to the side because I now need the space. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is try to get as much of the water out as I can. And if you look here, there's water seeping out. We want to get rid of all of that. Whoops. You can see the water here, all seeping out. We want to get rid of as much of the water as possible because we don't want the butter going rancid. And it will ferment over time if it's left out long enough. We don't want the water in it because the water will mean a much shortened product life. I've done this with my bare hands before, but I figured for the sake of a video, it's probably better to do it with the plastic. Just want to knead it. And soak up as much of that water as possible. It's just, there's just a piece that soaked down right there. And I'm still seeing water come out of it, so I'm just going to continue to knead it. And it looks like I need another paper towel. Got some drops up here. There's more. Really don't want rancid butter sitting on the counter. But if you take the proper steps beforehand, I'm going to taste this. Yeah, I think that's, well, no, I think it could use a little bit, whoops, I think it could use a little bit more salt. Hold on. Whoa! Okay, so we'll mix that in. And the salt will also help it release the water a little bit more easily. I just like salted butter, that's all. You don't have to put salt in it at all. But if you want to, you can make your own salted or unsalted butter. Now this is starting to get soft because it's warming up, but there is still water coming out. So I am going to, I normally wouldn't do this, but normally by this time the water's all gone. So I'm going to wrap it up, see if we can cool it off a little bit. Just let it solidify a bit. Just don't let any of the water get inside the plastic because then you have to start the process all over again. Okay. All right. Okay. It is still spurting when I need it. Which probably means that I didn't shake it enough before I took it out. But it is warming up, so it's not. Yummy butter. Okay. This is a fun project if you have a whole bunch of little kids who have a lot of energy. You can hand them a bottle and say dance. And then they get to see butter made. Okay, now I think, oh, just as I was about to say it's done, more starts coming out, so. But, okay, whoops, uh-oh, I ran my finger through it. Good thing I'm the one that's eating it. Okay, hold on just a minute. Now, hopefully you can see that. I'm going to try to maintain as much sterility as I can in this messy process. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the plastic, move that out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to roll it, try to get the air out, roll it into a log, roll the ends, and you have butter. So the whole process took about half an hour, including all of this stuff. Okay, I will talk with you later.